Yesterday wasn't quiet, it was just hidden. While the world stared at the headlines, the real stories were happening in the shadows.
Cyber probes, drone encounters, underground tournaments, moments of pressure no one bothered to report.
Welcome to episode 2, the stories they didn't tell you. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mind War podcast, your daily stop for yesterday's hidden headlines. Today, we're going to start off with a cyber attack probe on a Midwestern water facility. A water treatment facility reported a minor disruption. That's code for somebody tested their defenses.
Oh, without question. That, to me, that's more like a reconnaissance thing. Let's scope this out, see what kind of, mechanisms they have in place for safety. I mean, you knock out somebody's water supply or water source. Woo. We're talking about an issue there.
Which brings me to the first question. Why? Why would you attack somebody's water system?
Well, because if you hit water, well, first of all, there's a lot of trust involved with people with the water.
Right.
You're drinking the water out of your tap, let's say, the bottled water or a restaurant's water, where you're trusting that water is good.
Very true.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. We're trusting that I walk to the tap right now, pour me a glass of water out of the sink, that the water's good. I'm trusting that.
Right.
Well, they're banking on that trust. If they can do something to the water, just a little bit of fentanyl can go a long way.
Very true.
I mean, and people don't know until it's too late.
Right.
So,
But why keep it quiet?
Well, to avoid showing the world that we're vulnerable, to avoid saying, "Hey, we got a glitch." That's not newsworthy. First, it doesn't make the president look bad. Whatever president, doesn't matter. Doesn't make the government look bad. It doesn't make the city of where we don't even know what city this is at.
Right.
They're keeping it a secret, right? We just happen to uncover it, right? So, these things are done on purpose so that we don't, as a common folk, go, "Hey, whoa, what's because this is the kind of stuff they don't want us to see."
Sure.
So the Strait of Hormuz primary in the news, the bombing of Iran. Heck, we all forgot about Savannah Guthrie's mom. I mean, come on,
true.
What, 5-6 weeks now?
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
So I think this is just another thing that's happening that they don't want us to know about.
I agree. Speaking of the Strait of Hormuz, another story that you won't see on mainstream media, there was a cargo ship yesterday that flagged unusual drone activity near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. No mainstream outlet touched it.
Well, there's a reason for that. Because the focus is on Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz. Let's forget about the Bab Strait. Let's forget about the other strait. Let's forget the fact that there's drones flying all over the place. That's an issue now anyway in our country.
Very much so.
Throughout the world. The drones are everywhere. So, I mean, and now drones are carrying missiles or arms or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I don't think they want us to know all this stuff because that's a scare tactic.
I think it's also a message that whoever is responsible for that drone is watching.
Yeah, and I think the reason they're using drones is cheap. I mean, drones, they seem expensive, but they're really not.
In comparison to a jet or a helicopter.
Yeah, right. And man hours.
Right.
If you're having humans go out there and try to do some reconnaissance or whatever. But I think a drone can do the job effectively. But the biggest thing here is that this raises questions that nobody wants to answer.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Is that not only is it being swept under the rug, kind of as a psychological warfare.
Yes, it's swept under the rug on purpose, of course. They're not gonna, hey, let's not talk about that. And that's that's C or D or back page news. No, that's front page news.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's things that we should know about.
Especially with our cargo ships. If our shipping over water was completely shut down, the United States of America would literally collapse.
Well, the whole world would.
Yeah.
Because we're all about trade, right? We're all about getting things from other countries. When in fact, we could sustain ourselves.
Without question.
But being the good neighbor, if you will, the good person on earth, the good country, we try to, do the trade, fair trade and all that, but there's something sinister with these drones. I mean, it's just
Yeah, very, very much so. So that's our regular news. We're going to jump to a couple of sports stories that you probably have not heard about. The first one is special to me. I've had multiple knee surgeries. You've had knee replacement. How about a high school wrestler wins a state title with a partially torn MCL?
did he know it was torn?
No idea.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy.
No, he's from Ohio, right?
I believe so,
I think
yes.
he's from Ohio. I
Yeah.
mean, that's not your typical physical toughness, man. To me, that's just him fighting psychologically an old warfare from his body.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest with you, that's psychological warfare. He has the pain, obviously, but he wants to push through this pain to win this ultimate goal for him, which he's probably been training his whole life for,
Right.
his young life, to win a state title. I mean, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah, especially like in Ohio. That's a wrestling state,
Yes.
To win a big a title with a torn or partially torn. Of course, I don't think we know the full extent of the
We
injury.
don't, because it's a story that was swept under the rug.
But that's something that should be on the headline. That's a big time thing.
That young man should be heralded, and ESPN should have kicked off their store or their segment with something like that. But how do you, as somebody that played professionally, how do you compete when you're injured? Not hurt, but truly injured.
I think if you compete by being injured, pain is information that's coming from your brain. Hey, this hurts. This hurts. It's not something telling you not to do something.
Right.
Right. So I think cognitively you can say, well, I think I can still go do this, even though the pain is there. I think I have the ability to overcome that and to make this in this young man's case, win this state title. You don't get a second chance. How long has he been wrestling with this bum knee? With the MCL tear or whatever. Could have been the whole season.
Could
we
have.
We don't
Absolutely.
know. But it's come to the light now, which I think is kind of cool. But I think in his position, he's an elite athlete, obviously. I think what it did with him is he just was able to push it aside and compete.
Kind of get that tunnel vision.
Yeah, get that. Yeah. And you can push it aside because your mind is strong.
Yes.
Your mind can do things that, hey, that doesn't hurt all of a sudden.
Right.
And then you go on from there,
Or it hurts, but you can push through it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, sir.
It'd be better than that team that had to sleep in the airport. That's our next little thing here.
Yeah.
So the semi-pro team, basketball team, had to sleep in an airport. However, they slept in the airport overnight because I guess TSA, what's going on. They ended up winning the game that they had to play the next day, which is kind of cool. Again, that goes back to mental toughness.
Right.
Coach had you prepared as a unit, as a team, to this pitfall of being in the airport overnight. I mean, that's horrible. But I've done it.
Oh yeah,
we've all done it, but not in the conditions that they've had to, as a squad of team, coaches, trainers, you name it,
with a game coming up the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
We're spending the night in the airport, but we're going home or we're going to our destination.
Yeah, you're talking about chaos in their minds. Oh my God!
Meals.
I got
training.
I got a game tomorrow. I mean, how am I going to play if I'm sleeping? You're talking about controlled chaos right there.
Right.
Their whole world is upside down, and for me it was their ability to adapt to the chaos. You can say it's not chaos, but it is chaos. They should be in their hotel room somewhere, practicing or prepping for the game, having meetings, scheduled, lunches, dinners as a team. No, they're sleeping on the floor of an airport.
Of an airport.
That's.
But why do you think some teams thrive when faced with adversity and others collapse?
I think because I think sometimes with adversity, certain teams or people start to have clarity. They can see through the problem and see the end goal. Right. I think that it's a mindset.
Right.
If you can, the discomfort or the feeling of whatever, if you can push past that, you can come into clarity.
Sure.
I think that's what this whoever this coach is, was brilliant. To be able to have them do that. But I think it also gives them a psychological edge come game time, because they just had a horrible night, yet they were able to come to the game and they felt positive enough that they can go in there and achieve victory.
Absolutely.
I think that says a lot.
It's really cool.
Again, that should be on TV.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely. Okay, so let's shift gears into a little martial arts events that you probably didn't hear about.
Now this one you definitely won't.
This first one that we've got is cool, and I can't wait to pick your brain on it. But there was an underground Kyokushin tournament in Osaka,
Japan.
Full contact, no cameras, no promotion.
That's pure martial arts. No fame, no lights, just pure pain. Pure martial arts and pure pain. Either you win or you lose. I mean, and the fact that there's no press, the fact that there's no cameras, anything like that. There's no promotion. That's the real deal.
So in the world of information that we live in, where you can Google anything, you can AI search anything, why keep fighting underground? Why would you not want to promote that? You want the news there. You want stuff
I
that
think, in my opinion,
Mhm.
is to keep it pure and integrity driven. If you don't have all these outside influences, it stays pure. It's all about the grit, then it's all about the fighter, the integrity of the event. I think that's to me, if you don't have all that, I mean, look at UFC. Sometimes that's just over the top, right?
Right.
So this is over the top, it's underground over the top, and it's pure. They have their own rules, we just don't know them.
Right.
They have their own set of standards. Again, we don't know them, but it's set in stone. And those fighters that go compete, either they probably get invited, or they somehow find out about this underground through the channels, and I think it keeps it pure. The fighting is pure.
But what mindset do you think that creates as a fighter walking in, knowing it's underground, knowing that you're not going to be on the front page of the newspaper holding up your trophy? What kind of mindset does that bring into the arena or the dojang?
I think so. A warrior mindset, a warrior psychology. I mean, you figure you're going in there to survive. So survival is the key. So I think you're going there with a survivor and a warrior mindset. That this is battle. I'm here to do battle.
Right.
It's not pomp and circumstance. It's not flashy lights. I mean, there's spectators, I'm sure, but it's not like what you see on TV. So I think that you have to have a warrior. Psychologically, you have to be warrior prepared.
Right.
To go battle, you're doing battle.
Of course.
You're going to war.
Right. All right. Well, we've got one more story before we wrap up. Grandmaster's got this one. Take it away, sir.
Well, which one do you want me to talk about? The the Aikido master.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Aikido master holds free street safety workshop in Tokyo. Okay, he holds a free street teaching awareness, not combat. How now? That's pretty smart.
That's martial arts at its core.
Yeah,
You know,
we talk about it all the time.
prevention over
Mhm.
violence. But
The best, listen, if they can, the thing about Aikido is really cool because they want to avoid conflict. So I think the best, and that's a perfect person to try to give out this kind of teaching,
right.
because their whole goal is to avoid conflict. And
Okay.
if you can, teach people how to avoid conflict or conflict resolution, I mean, what better training than that? Even for skilled martial arts that like to, get in there like these people at the Kyokushin tournament, they would probably be the same guys that would go and ladies that would go to this thing in Tokyo and a street awareness workshop. I believe they would be the same people.
Okay.
I don't think there's much division in a warrior. I think it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war, right? So I think that personally is kind of neat.
I think it's super cool. And for coming from a grandmaster like you are, the warrior mentality, the war mind is such a complex part of that warrior's daily life. How they go to their car, where they park at the grocery store, awareness of who's following them or who they might be coming behind.
Sure.
I believe that martial arts takes your street warrior, your fighter, and elevates their mind more than their physical attributes. But the warrior mind is more powerful than any weapon that you can hold.
Well, because if you can maintain calmness under a threat, that's the ideal goal, to remain calm. Inside, you could be like fired, but
Sure.
on the outside, you're calm. And I think if the idea is to remain calm through adversity,
I
and
agree.
that's not easy to obtain, though. It takes time.
And not everybody can do it.
No.
It's something that you really have to focus on and work on. One of my New Year's resolutions was to not waste energy that I'm given. But it's hard. It's that warrior mindset. Something happens, you get triggered. Now you snap. Well, I'm not calm in that moment. Now I've just lost control.
And that's not a warrior.
Right.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your daily hidden news segment. We will be back tomorrow with another hidden news segment. These are the biggest stories that are not on the front page. They're in the shadows.
And that's where it matters most, because they're not in the front page.
This is the Mind War Podcast. Stay aware, stay sharp, stay tactical.
And always remember to be kind.
Y'all have a great day.